What's up, gamers? I'm your host, Cobra, and on today's episode of the Freeroll, we're breaking down Augencore Paragons. Now, before we jump in, a couple of things to remember about Augencore. Augencore is all about the upgrades, so keep that in mind when you're reading these abilities. Second, salvage is the unique keyword for Augencore, and it means when a unit with salvage is destroyed, move X number of equipped upgrades to other units. So if something says salvage 1, for example, then when that unit dies, if it had any upgrades equipped to it, then it gets to move one of them to a different unit. So that's a really nice ability when you consider how many upgrades are going to be flying around in a typical Augencore deck. The first Paragon we're taking a look at today is Jahn, Chief Engineer. Jahn's passive ability is friendly salvage values are increased by 1. So naturally, you're going to want to load up your deck with lots of units that have the salvage keyword on it to take advantage of this passive ability. He's also a 7 energy 3/3 unit muster ability. Reveal random friendly banked cards until an upgrade is revealed. For each card revealed, attach a copy of the revealed upgrade to a target unit. So, a couple of things that you want to think about, because this is a really interesting muster ability. You have control over what goes into your bank for the most part. So, the ideal way to play Jahn is that you want to play one upgrade only in your bank. It can be done at any point during the game, obviously before you summon Jahn, but only bank one upgrade. Make sure that that upgrade is one that is going to stack nicely. And then you want to bank everything else. Can be any other type of card. This minimizes the chance of each random selection being the actual upgrade, and the more cards that you reveal, the more copies of that upgrade you get to attach to another unit. So it's going to be at least a little bit later in the game because he is a 7 energy summon. So that means you're going to have 7 or more cards there. If only one of those is the upgrade, then each chance is relatively low that the upgrade is going to be selected. If you do that well, then you're typically going to get 3 or 4 or more copies of that upgrade attached to a single unit, and depending on the unit and the upgrade, that can really end up being a devastating combo. So that essentially is your win condition with Jahn. Next, we have a really popular Paragon choice, Arak Combat Overseer. Arak looks quite simple. He is a 5 energy 2/2 unit with the passive ability, friendly upgraded non-token units have Aftermath, create a 1/1 nanobot. And the active ability, Muster, create the Swarm. However, you need to know a whole bunch of different keywords here to understand what that means. First, Aftermath means when they die. So, friendly upgraded non-token units, when they die, they will create a 1/1 nanobot. The nanobot is either a 1/1 unit or a +1/+1 upgrade, and they can switch between the two. The Swarm is a 4/4 unit, and it has the ability Aftermath, create 4 nanobots. So the Swarm is 4/4 unit, then when it dies it becomes 4 1/1 nanobots or +1/+1 upgrades. So essentially Arak is allowing you to load the field with these nanobots, which are both upgrades and units. So it's quite flexible to a lot of different game situations, and with all of the interesting abilities that are triggered upon upgrades in Augencore, he gives you a ton of them available for essentially no additional cost. Finally, we have the Juggernaut Workshop, and the Juggernaut Workshop is one of the most interesting in the entire game because it's the only Paragon that is not a playable unit. That's right, the Juggernaut Workshop is more like a Paragon relic, and it has the ability. Juggernaut Workshop starts the game with 4 counters. At the end of your turn, remove 1 counter. After the last counter is removed, choose and create a Juggernaut and add 3 counters to the Juggernaut Workshop. So that means the Juggernaut Workshop does nothing until the end of your 4th turn. Then you're able to summon a Juggernaut. Then it does nothing again for 3 more turns, and at the end of that 3rd turn, you get to summon another Juggernaut, and so on. That is interesting. You're probably thinking, what is a Juggernaut? That is a great question. It doesn't list the Juggernaut options on the Paragon anymore, but in general, they have simply removed a lot of the text from the Paragons. So far, none of them have really been materially changed when they've simply replaced descriptions with words and pronouns. Previously, you got 3 options. The Attack Juggernaut was a 4/4 unit with Armed. The Defense Juggernaut was a 3/6 unit with Defender. And the Artillery Juggernaut is a 2/5 unit that allows you to deal 3 damage to a target enemy unit when it hits the battlefield. So this essentially means that the Juggernaut Workshop is simply a free unit on turns 4, 7, 10, 13, and so on, and you get to choose one of 3 very useful unit types each time. Other than that, you don't have to do or think about anything, so this is a great choice for beginners because it is quite simple to use, but also provides you quite a bit of flexibility because you can choose whatever type of unit you need at that point in the game based on game situations.